Hi, everybody, and welcome to the EVGA Podcast. We are back again, and it is after PAX.
And after GTC.
And after GTC, the very long, arduous weekend that was. So, let's start things off.
GDC, correct?
Yeah, sorry, GDC, you are
GDC
correct.
is next week.
Correct. So, first off, we'll start with PAX, since that is the front runner in this particular situation. How was your PAX, Jacob?
It was cold.
It was extremely cold. If you don't know, Boston was covered in ice and snow. This PAX East was moved up about a month, give or take. So that, in conjunction with all the snow and the storms, it was. I think the first night I was there, it was something along the lines of like 14 degrees outside.
Any idea why they changed the date so drastically?
I have no idea. Whoever decided it was a good idea to have a PAX 6 weeks after a PAX was not a fan of mine.
We just had PAX South.
Yeah.
So
many PAXs. Many PAXs. Did you see anything there you thought was interesting?
Well, let's see. Obviously, we had the EVGA booth going, showing off a lot of power supplies, graphics cards. We're playing Dying Light. But what else did we have? There was a lot of indie games.
There was a very, very large amount of indie games. I'd say probably twice as many indie games as there was last year.
Yeah.
So many indie games.
Not a lot of big publishers this year, it seems like.
It seemed like they were there without actually being there. Like, they all had reps there. Sometimes they would have, like, a smaller presence, but they weren't really... It wasn't like last East when there was a lot of them.
Right.
It wasn't like Prime, where... Prime's probably the biggest one, in my opinion, where all the guys come out to play. But, yeah, it was interesting. It felt almost like a cross between last year's East and this year's South.
People are excited that the beard is back.
Yes, I bring it with me wherever I go.
So what do you guys think of the differences between, like, PAX South and PAX East?
PAX South, it only happened. We've only had one PAX South, and a lot of times in the first PAX, a lot of vendors will kind of stay back and more so speculate and watch and kind of see if it's worthwhile next time. So it might be a couple Souths before they start to kind of come along. That in South this year was also in conjunction with CES. It's
like right after
2 weeks
CES.
after CES. So scheduling this year was a nightmare. And but South was almost entirely smaller booths. Even a lot of the major publishers that were there still had smaller booths because it was a smaller event. It had about, I want to say about 40,000, 45,000 people come through, whereas East had closer to 70, 80, 90,000 people come through. East was a madhouse this year. So many people. Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Is that a mobile game?
No,
I think
it's not.
it's a PC game too.
It is a PC game. I haven't played it. I know about it. I've read about it. I know the concept behind it.
I know it's supposed to be very scary. A lot of jump scares.
I haven't actually played it, and it's honestly not my type of game, but
A lot of people seem to like it, though.
a lot of people like it a lot. I mean, I know the story behind
haven't
it.
tried it
I
either.
even know the true ending behind it, but it's just
Something
'cause I
like
read
you're
posts.
like a janitor, or like not a janitor, like a security guard,
Yeah.
and then there's like these.
All the animatronics are haunted by the
Animatronic, yeah.
ghosts of children that
it's like Chuck
died
E. Cheese
there.
or something.
Oh, I think I'm going to play that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was very interesting. But yeah, East was very, very busy. We saw some cool things here and there. It was a little bit different than last year. The big booths there were probably the Twitch booth, the Wargaming booth was there. The Square Enix booth was fairly sizable. The Gray Box booth was pretty big, and there was a couple other ones. Capcom had a pretty cool booth with Monster Hunter. They had the caravans all laid out that were from the game in the actual booth, so people could go sit down in the caravans from the game. It was pretty cool. It was interesting, even though I didn't really get to do it.
Long lines.
A lot of lines. Oh, Overwatch was there. That was another big one that
Yeah.
people were very,
Yeah.
very interested to see.
Blizzard.
Blizzard's Overwatch. So that was pretty cool. I know Joey checked it out, and he said it looked really neat. I actually didn't get a chance to see it.
I watched some of just they had a bunch of systems set up and people were playing
Mm-hmm.
games. I kind of watched just some of the gameplay for a few minutes, and
Yeah, the line to Overwatch was
I'm interested
pretty
to try it.
astronomical.
it's the first-person shooter from Blizzard, so
It's true. It is their first one. I mean, after all that experience they got with Ghost that never came out, we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Well, we're glad to see you too. All right, moving right along. So GTC is coming up, and that is all you, Jacob. Why don't you tell us a little about that?
So GTC is going to be starting next week. Stands for the GPU Technology Conference. It's an Nvidia event. Going to talk about, of course, graphics. A lot of it is education, how to program on graphics, CUDA stuff. So that should be a lot of fun. Jensen, who is the CEO of Nvidia, will have a keynote as well. I'm sure he'll have some pretty cool announcements. And then one thing that we didn't actually talk about was GDC. Mm-hmm. So many.
There's a lot of acronyms going around here.
So that was the Game Developers Conference, and that was literally a few days before PAX.
Actually, the last day of GDC was the first day of PAX East.
Yep.
That also is probably a really strong reason why a lot of the heavy hitters weren't there, because they were probably all still wrapped up in GDC.
Yep.
So, again, scheduling this year was absolute nightmare. Unfortunately, no, there is no low option that I'm aware of. If someone else knows a way to do it, please tell him. But as of right now, I do not know of any way to lower the stream quality for this particular situation. Is anything you're looking forward to for GTC specifically, or?
I wouldn't say anything specifically, but I'm sure that there'll be a lot of really interesting things at the show to check out. At GDC was really interesting. I did get a chance to go up there for a day or two, and I tried out Epic's. So there was a lot of Epic Unreal Engine 4 demos.
Unreal 4
lot
is
of VR
very pretty.
there. So I got a chance to try out I think it was called Thief in the Shadows. It was a Unreal Engine 4 Epic demo with the VR headset. It was the latest version of the Oculus, which had headphones built into it as well, and it was really impressive. It's hard to describe it without actually experiencing it, but it was very impressive.
Yeah, last time I tried Oculus, I don't think I tried the one with the built-in. I believe it was the 1080p model, but it didn't have the headset built into it. So.
This is the first time that I've tried Oculus since the very first
the 721
version. And the improvements are there's a big improvement from the original developer kit to what we have today.
Well, I mean,
and still developing. So
even the 1081, when I put it on, I could still. You're so close to the actual internal screen that you can still see the pixels.
They call screen door effect. You can still kind of see it, but it's definitely not as noticeable as it was with the original version.
I'm curious to see if they're going to come out with maybe like a 1440 or maybe even a 2K version of it to where you really can't see the pixels, and that would be.
I'm sure that eventually
pretty
will happen.
lovely.
So, what game did you try on the Oculus?
Oculus, I don't remember what it was called, but it was kind of like a Matrix simulator. You were essentially running down a hallway with a bunch of stick guys at the end of the hallway firing bullets at you.
Oh, I heard of
And you have to sit there and actually move your body, and you can slow down time. It only moves when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So you can slightly pull the trigger to slow down and actually dodge bullets as you go. And it's actually pretty tricky, and it gets kind of hard.
Something hot. Super
I think it was
hot?
super hot,
Super hot, okay.
It was really fun, and it was, for what it was and how simple it was incredibly immersive. So,
what do we have on there?
I'm not entirely sure. That was back at Prime, actually.
So I tried, the very first Oculus I tried was the Doom 3 demo, which was kind of cool. And then I also tried a roller coaster demo, which was...
I've heard that one, if you try to...
That one was pretty cool.
I've heard if you try to stand up during that, it's incredibly difficult to not fall.
Right.
I have not gotten to try that.
Maybe I'll try that.
I've been very curious to try that because I like a challenge. But next time I get a shot at that, I'm definitely going to give that a run. But moving... speaking of GTC, though, everyone's interested in the Titan X.
So at GDC, so first of all, Jensen, CEO of Nvidia, had a keynote. He talked about the Shield, which is it's kind of like a console. It's a set-top box, which you can play. It has Android operating system. You can play. You can have Netflix, Hulu, all the kind of Android apps that come with the ecosystem. But they also formally announced the streaming service, so you can actually stream games to the Shield device with very minimal or not even noticeable input lag. So that's what they showed. It was a really, really slim box. I recommend anyone to check it out on the website is very small.
Yeah, I saw a couple pictures of it. It's got the angular side to it.
It's a pretty sleek looking device. It uses a Tegra chip in it, of course. And in addition to that, the next day after that, Jensen again showed up at an Epic. So game developer Epic was having a keynote as well. And Jensen showed up and showed a GeForce GTX Titan X graphics card. So, a lot more. We're really excited about, obviously, that one coming. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Fantastic. So someone has a question for you, Jacob.
Actually, I did not. I took off my glasses. So from what I understand, the Oculus does have some issues with glasses. For me, I didn't necessarily need to use it for this particular demo because the screens were so close. For me, I had trouble seeing far. So for Oculus, it's okay for me. But I did hear about the Valve VR headset, and apparently that one is better with people who wear glasses. So I didn't try that one. I heard the demos on that one are really impressive as well. I didn't get a chance to try that one though. So.
I know a lot of people are clamoring for the ability with these companies that are doing the VRs to build in a setting in the actual settings of the programs that run on VR to where you can actually adjust the game to your prescription settings.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot
So
of sense.
the plus or minus on each eye side,
Right,
and
yeah.
then that way people who wear glasses don't have to worry about it. They can just set their prescription and take the glasses off, and we're all
Right.
good across the board.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's actually a really good idea. I don't know how easy that would be to implement or how difficult. I mean, I really don't know enough about prescription eyeglass settings, or if that's even something that's feasible, but I
you
imagine
just
it
have
should
to
be.
emulate the bending of the glass, I guess.
Yeah,
In a way. I'm
so-
not sure if that can be done from software level. But
Exactly. If it is a possibility,
Sounds kind of.
it would be a really, really good idea. If it's not, well,
Maybe someday we can have totally electronic glasses where you could just adjust your prescription on the fly. Cameras, outward facing cameras.
I'll let you take that one, Jacob.
Any big plans with the EVGA Twitch channel at Team EVGA? So I guess he's talking about the channel that we're on right now.
I would hope so. I mean, if there's another EVGA Twitch channel, I'd really like to watch it. I'd be kind of curious to see what they're
we're
doing.
always looking to expand it, and I mean, we don't have anything for giveaway today. Last week, or not the last week, we didn't have a stream, but the week prior to that, we had a bunch of game codes that we gave out. So I think that we'll continue to try to give away stuff on the streams when we can.
All right. Okay, so moving along, a lot of you may already know there is now a Witcher 3 bundle available for a bunch of our cards when they buy them. If anybody, I don't know if any of you guys have played The Witcher 1 or 2. Both were actually very good games. 2 got a lot of recommendations. 2 is very, very well done. And 3 has a lot of hype behind it. So we're going to actually post the link in the chat and buy certain qualifying EVGA cards, and you can get yourself a free copy of The Witcher 3.
Yeah, 960, 970, 980.
You heard it first. Well, you probably read it first, but that's irrelevant. There's a secondary bundle going on. This is a little bit more obscure one you guys might not have heard of, where there's actually a Dying Light bundle going on. It's a very specific bundle. It's two 970s, and I believe it's a 1,000-watt power supply. And if you buy that bundle together in one set, you get $60 off, plus you get a copy of Dying Light additionally. So that is a limited time only. You can also get that on
That game's a lot of fun.
EVGA.com. It's really hard, actually.
It is really hard.
I mean,
Especially at nighttime.
yeah, it is. It is surprisingly difficult. It does not hold your hand in any regard when it comes to that. When you get in there and you first try to start hitting stuff, and you think, "Oh, this isn't too bad. This is pretty easy. These guys are dying," and then all of a sudden, 5 of them come out, and you're like, "I can do this," and then you can't. You just die.
It's better to just run away.
It's yes, especially the really big guys with the massive weapons. Those guys
just
are.
run away. Yeah. That's the best. That's the best.
The funniest
the
thing
best
is
advice.
you try and light them on fire, and then when they hit you, they light you on fire.
Yeah.
So you bite
touch
yourself on that one.
Don't hit them.
It's fairly difficult.
It looks really nice too, though.
It does. It's actually a very pretty game. I don't know much for the storyline, but it's fairly long. And last but not least, as far as the events go, we also have the gaming event that just launched. It's the St. Patrick's Day themed. It's the Pot of Gold event. We're giving away a bunch of other stuff. This one's coming right after our Valentine's Day one because they're obviously in close conjunction. So go sign up for that, play some games, play a little bit of time, and get a chance to win some stuff. I believe we're primarily giving away motherboards this time as well. So there's a couple bundles going on in there, so look forward to that as well. Capture cards. Jacob?
No real plans at the moment, especially for Xbox or PS4, as we're all things PC at EVGA. But it's definitely a growing thing. But with Shadow Play, you get a lot of options for capturing gameplay video, which we use a lot, and it works really great. But no real plans for any capture cards at the moment.
Biohazard mentioned that Joey's doing a good job with EGC, so just wanted to thank Joey.
Yep. Thanks, Joey.
Don't let it go to his head. Just don't tell him too much. Make him get too happy about that. So I know last week not last week, the week before last week, we went over the 1050 power supply, the GS. So I see you have 2 of the smaller models for this one.
Yep. We have 2 power supplies here, 550, 650 GS power supplies. These ones are coming very soon, and very low price points. Of course, it does have the hybrid fan mode as well, which means the fan does not turn on until the power supply reaches a specific temperature. So very quiet, very efficient, and very good power supplies.
This is more so in range for the people who only want to run a single card, whereas the 1050 was people who wanted to do SLI or possibly even try SLI.
Like 960 SLI would probably be okay on these, but if you're doing like 980 SLI, yeah, you might want a little bit more power than that. But
if you're running a single card, this is a good option to go with.
Yeah, they'll be excellent power supplies.
Indeed. Well, so I know we were speaking about Unreal 4 earlier. Before we get into that, though, keyboard updates?
No updates on keyboard.
No keyboard updates. Sorry,
Still
guys.
being worked on.
I know that's been asked a couple times in the chat, and we just don't got anything for that right now. And no, those are actually gold-rated power supplies, for the record.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Unreal 4 earlier, and I know a lot of people have been following the Unreal 4 development, and it now has a playable pre-alpha that is available for everybody. All you gotta do is sign up for the, I believe it's the Epic forums, or the Unreal forums, and you can get in there and download
Epic's
the build.
website. So it's Unreal Tournament, which is a long-lasting franchise. UT came out, I don't know, in the 90s, so. So the latest version is just called Unreal Tournament. I don't know if they're going to change the name or not. It's currently in pre-alpha stage, so it's not even considered alpha yet. But we have it here to try it out. Of
Jacob's going to give it a run for us.
Well, so let's
play against
of
some
course
bots.
it uses Unreal Engine 4, and just keep in mind it is a pre-alpha, so a lot of stuff probably will change. We're going to play with bots because the unpredictable nature of online. So we'll just put it at the default setting here. If the sound is kind of off, please let us know, and we'll make sure to adjust it. So firstly, this game looks really good. It's Unreal Engine 4. It looks really good.
For a pre-alpha, it looks very, very well polished.
All these surfaces are all reflective. Like you shoot a
shiny
rocket.
concrete.
If you shoot a rocket, it'll show up. Of course, we have a rocket launcher here. And then you can do your alternate fire to
It pretty much has most of the classic weapons from the old Unreals. And it looks to be slightly faster than 2K4, but a little bit slower than 99. It's kind of like in between the two.
I think it's a good balance.
Yeah, I mean 99 was Twitch-tastic. I mean it was very, very twitchy.
And of course it has all of the the double jumps. Well, at least the side movements, so you can. Yeah.
The dodging, the double jumps.
Right.
I mean, and plus,
it doesn't have the double jump yet. I'm not sure.
That might be a mutator that they'll add later, because I mean that's kind of what Unreal Tournament's all about, is the mutator mods.
Yep.
So, and on top of that, this one's very, very heavily crowdsourced as far as what they're doing and how they're managing it. So anything that's
a lot of the maps are created by the community. I think is a really great thing.
It really is, and on pretty much anything that the majority of the community is going to want, they're going to add.
The other great thing is it's actually going to be free.
Yep, this one will be a free-to-play game.
It's the way that it will be funded is through customizations, like hats, things like that. So it's kind of like the style.
So is there anything about this one that just... How does this one feel in comparison to the previous ones?
I'd say it feels a lot more like UT2K4 than UT3. To me, at least.
Unreal Tournament 3 didn't really feel like Unreal Tournament to begin with.
It was
super heavy.
Different. A lot of the after they released some patches for it, it kind of changed the feel a bit. But at least when it initially came out, Yeah, it did have a different feel.
I remember when I was playing 3 when it first came out, it felt very, very heavy. It didn't feel like the classic Twitch game.
It didn't feel as mobile, like jumping around and stuff like that. For some
You couldn't
reason.
dodge nearly as well.
But this one feels a lot more. So,
Well, you're not quite winning, Jacob.
not winning. So it's first to 15. So
I think you said it first to 20.
Oh, really?
Jacob killed himself. Yes, he did.
I've done that a few times.
He has. He's done it at least twice that I've seen.
Here's a
That
sniper rifle.
rocket launcher doesn't sit well with him.
In a Twitch game like this, the sniper rifle is not always good.
See, I missed the lightning rifle. I wonder if they're gonna bring that back. I mean,
I like the pulse gun. I don't think I got that one yet.
no, not
This
yet.
alternate
The
fire.
pulse is. I always end up getting myself killed with the pulse because I want to do nothing but fire bursts and blow them up
Yeah,
on
that-
people.
yeah.
So because I'm trying to do that, I end up getting myself killed. Oh, so when you zoom in with the sniper, it highlights the heads
I didn't
around you.
realize that.
That is actually hilarious.
Ooh, that's
That's really funny. I didn't even. That's awesome.
nice. Really see how I'm doing here.
You're losing.
No.
You need to step up your game, Jacob. I mean, these bots are only on a third of their own difficulty.
I know what's going on here.
It's like you've never played
I'm
this
a bit
before.
rusty, I guess. It's been a long time since I played on a real tournament.
So I know we do have some questions building. So once we finish this, the demo for Unreal Tournament, we will get to some of those questions. For now, we'll just sit here and criticize Jacob's skills as much as possible. Meanwhile, he's shifted from first to fourth. Yes, this alpha is available for everyone. It's completely, this whole project by Epic is completely community driven. This map in particular, you can actually see this map from its initial sketches all the way up through its design phases in the community and the changes that were done to it. All you have to do is you sign up for the forums, and through the forums they can actually, there's links to where you can download it in. But yeah, you can play it right now, and it has full online support as well. Though there is only 2 maps, I believe.
There's 2 complete maps.
Yes.
There's a lot of unfinished maps. I'll say there's maybe 10 or so that are not finished, which are still fully playable. They just don't have like all the textures. and
Yeah.
stuff, so-
You're just playing on.
What was that?
This is on a 770.
Yeah, GTA 7. It actually runs like quite well too, considering that. Like, that's so good. I especially think the lighting looks really good.
Yeah. Well, Unreal 4 just does wonders with lighting. Looks really good, even on fairly
3 more
unpolished games. It looks really
Gotta
well.
catch up.
That bouncing shrapnel.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it comes back to hit you too.
I don't know. I think the flat cannon's probably the best gun in this game.
It's always been my favorite gun.
It's just it's a really good gun.
And of course, the rocket launcher is a good one too.
The rocket launcher's good, but you tend to kill yourself with it. What's the flat cannon's still my favorite, though I do like the shock rifle a lot as well. Wow, you just lost to a link gun, man. That's terrible. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Well, you got third, Jacob. It only took you 9 minutes and 43 seconds to lose.
Well, I gotta keep practicing, I guess.
All right. Well, so now we will come back to some questions. So, all right. Well, there's quite a lot here. Jacob, I'll let you take these.
Axum's asking, why do so many PC games seem to release without SLI support? I think that Nvidia's made a lot of improvements here with GeForce Experience. So a lot of times the SLI, because a lot of times all it needs is like just a small patch to enable the driver to actually recognize the game to enable SLI. So Nvidia has made some big improvements here with GeForce Experience. A lot of times you'll see updates for GeForce Experience specifically to address SLI and add SLI profiles. So it still happens from time to time, I would say, but it's a rare thing most of the time, at least for AAA titles.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question. He has a second question, though.
Just want to know, is the PCI slot for the X99s faster? It's not necessarily faster. I mean, it is PCI Express 3.0, which is the fastest standard for PCI Express interface, so you get a lot of bandwidth there. It's full by 16. So in that sense, it's faster than X58, for example.
Yeah, it's going to be faster than 2.0 slots.
It's actually 3.0. The theoretical bandwidth of PCI Express 3.0 is like double 2.0.
Yeah.
So it's theoretically could be a lot faster. Now, there's a lot of variables with that because it depends on the graphics card. Can it take advantage of the extra bandwidth? Is the application that you're running taking advantage of the extra bandwidth? But when all the stars align, then yes, you have a lot more PCI Express bandwidth in PCI Express 3.0.
All right, now we have a question about the 960s.
So how much difference is there between 128-bit, 192, 256, 384? So the higher the memory bit on the graphics card, the more memory bandwidth is available. There's other ways to increase memory bandwidth than just memory bit. There can be things like the memory frequency also affects memory bandwidth. There can be the efficiency of the memory architecture that can increase the memory bandwidth as well. So the bit width is one part of it, but it's not all of it. So with the GTX 960 to 970, there is more memory bandwidth there, obviously. The 970 is a higher performing product. It has more memory bandwidth. But at the price point that the 960 is at, it's a pretty reasonable product at especially for 1080p gaming. If you want to do higher resolution gaming, then I would recommend maybe a 970 or two 960s in SLI, like the 4GB ones that we recently launched would be a good option for that if you do two of those in SLI. But ultimately, I would say for 1440p or especially for 4K, you'd want 970 or 980 in SLI, preferable.
Fantastic. And yes, Ron Swanson and I are related.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, you can be jealous all you want, but he's a very close uncle of mine.
Yeah.
All right, that mouse, for your question, Wolfie Poo, that is not the laser. That's actually the optical. We do have a laser version of it, which is actually gray. But
is there mouse acceleration? So you can disable mouse acceleration from the driver of the mouse, both on laser and optical ones. I know some people prefer optical sensors over laser, so we do have both there. The one that we're using at least for Unreal Tournament was the optical version of the X5. I really like this mouse a lot. I think for me personally, I think it has a nice feel.
yes.
And I prefer light mice.
See, I am the exact opposite. I
mean,
would.
The X10 it has a weight, so you can
And
increase
it's still
the
not
weights,
enough for
but,
me.
The X5 for me, I've always been a light mouse guy. I like the light mouse.
I would crack open my mice and put lead weights inside of it if I could. It's
Well, that's
just,
how you got so strong.
I like I'm extremely heavy-handed. I'm one of like two people that I know that use cherry green switches on my keyboard because they are super heavy to press. I'm not subtle at all. So I like my mice to be bricks.
This question about the bandwidth, how come companies aren't trying to increase it? Definitely companies are trying to increase it, but not in different ways than just the memory bit interface. We have memory frequencies up to 7,000 megahertz. That's a way to increase memory bandwidth, is increasing the memory bit. There's becoming more efficient memory architectures. That's another way to increase memory bandwidth. So memory bandwidth is increasing, but not necessarily that particular number.
Which is what most people look at, unfortunately. How do we get game keys? That depends on the game. Sometimes we'll get keys from Nvidia, sometimes we'll get them directly from the developer. It depends on what it is, what it's for, and how many. Sometimes they just want us to get the word out, sometimes it's for a promotion. So it varies.
Shadows of Mordor, are we going to start seeing 4GB cards standard or going up? I think on the high-end side, 4GB already
It's pretty standard,
becoming
yeah.
the standard. I mean, 970, 980 are both 4GB graphics cards. Yes, the texture requirements for games are becoming higher. I think the latest console generations kind of pushed it up a notch because the minimum bar was raised for texture resolutions and stuff. Because the consoles have significantly higher memory available to them, so the games can take advantage of this. So that's kind of like the minimum bar now, whereas before it was like way down here.
Really low.
So of course with the PC you get even higher texture resolutions, so that's going to require more memory as well. But with that being said, 4GB looks to be a pretty good spot for
jumping off point
for 1440p gaming at the highest resolution settings. It's hard to exceed 4GB.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, surround setup,
Let's
4K.
let's bust Skyrim out and let's see what we can do here.
That's a unique situation with Skyrim. Yeah, if you apply texture mods and stuff like that, then yeah, you could go over that. But
Okay. We'll probably take a couple more questions, and then we're going to call it. We've ran over a little bit. So, what is the best version of the 970? That is a completely subjective question.
yeah, I think so we recently launched a couple of new ones, super clocked, or SSC and FTW Plus, which have some cooler improvements and a few other things as well. If you're looking at 970, then I would suggest the SSC or FTW Plus, one of those two models. It gives you the best cooling performance, and it has a little bit beefed up power circuitry for overclocking and stuff. So
Okay.
those are good ones to look at.
To follow up to your question, in the cases where we do the very large promotions, most of those are promotions by Nvidia that are ran through our products. So those would actually be coming from Nvidia. So that's why a lot of times, if you purchase your card from Newegg or Amazon and you need your key and you come to us and we tell you to go to Newegg or Amazon, that's because Newegg and Amazon have your keys directly from Nvidia, not through us. So that's how that works. All right, do we have any other questions? Any info on GDDR6? Nada. We got nothing on GDDR6. 980 with the super clocked ACX 2.0.
980 with not right now. We launched the classified and the Kingpin cards, and that's kind of where our premium cards are that's where our premium models are right now on the 980 line.
All right. I think that's going to just about wrap it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and have a good day.
See ya.